Hello, and welcome back to One Day One Podcast. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest psychological roadblocks we all face: the fear of failure. It's that heavy blanket of anxiety that stops us from launching the project, asking the tough question, or chasing that ambitious dream. Think about it. How many amazing ideas have stayed trapped in your mind because of the dreaded, "what if I fail?" Today, we're not just going to talk about failure, we're going to redefine it. We're going to understand that a mistake isn't an ending, it's just a new beginning. We're going to learn how to see those missteps not as setbacks, but as stepping stones on your journey to success. Get ready to shift your mindset, because this is about empowering you to take bold action. The myth of perfection. Why are we so scared of failure? It often comes down to two things: social pressure and the myth of perfection. From a young age, we are taught that success means getting it right the first time. We see highlight reels on social media, the promotions, the perfect homes, the flawless launches, and we mistakenly believe that a successful life is a seamless, mistake-free climb. But that's a lie. Every single successful person you admire, from inventors like Thomas Edison to business leaders like Oprah Winfrey, has a graveyard full of failures. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That quote isn't just a clever line. It's a philosophy of relentless experimentation. When you fear failure, you're actually fearing the judgment, the feeling of being exposed or not good enough. But let me tell you, the only true failure is the failure to try. When you try and fall short, you haven't failed. You've simply completed a data-gathering exercise. Failure is data, the stepping stone strategy. The core of overcoming this fear is learning how to extract value from every single mistake. We need to adopt a growth mindset, where intelligence and abilities are seen as things we can develop, not fixed traits. When you hit a stumbling block, don't immediately retreat. Instead, pause and ask these three powerful, forward-looking questions. 1. What did this mistake teach me about the process? Did you miss a key deadline because you underestimated the timeline? Did the presentation flop because the audience wasn't prepared? Identify the specific, objective variable that needs adjustment. 2. What did this mistake teach me about myself? Did you procrastinate because you lacked confidence? Did you rush because you were overly excited? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about understanding your own habits and triggers. 3. What is the very next, smallest step I can take to incorporate this new lesson? Don't jump back to the finish line. Just commit to the next tiny action. If you failed to launch your website because you feared the feedback, the next step is simply to send the draft to one trusted friend. By asking these questions, you immediately shift your brain from a state of shame to a state of analysis. You turn an emotional blow into a strategic lesson plan. That mistake, which once felt like a wall, instantly becomes a stepping stone. Practical techniques to build resilience. So, how do we train our minds to be more resilient and less reactive to fear? Here are 3 actionable techniques you can start using today. 1. Practice mini failures daily. Start small. Do something daily that has a high chance of not being perfect. Maybe it's trying a new complex recipe, or learning 3 foreign words you know you'll forget by tomorrow. The goal is to desensitize yourself to imperfection. You're proving to your brain that failure is ordinary, not catastrophic. 2. Separate your action from your identity. Never say, I am a failure. Instead say, that project failed, or that method didn't work. Your action and your worth are two separate things. If the method didn't work, you changed the method, not your self-esteem. Your identity is the person who keeps trying, learning, and adapting. 3. Celebrate the attempt, not just the outcome. In your team or with your family, shift the language of praise. Instead of always focusing on the success of the sale, recognize the courage it took to make that cold call. When you finish a tough task, thank yourself for the effort and the vulnerability, regardless of the result. This trains you to value the journey. Final thoughts. The courage to be imperfect. To wrap up, overcoming the fear of failure is not about suddenly becoming fearless. It's about cultivating the courage to be imperfect. It's about knowing that every great story of success is also a great story of repeated failures. Think of your life as a scientific experiment. You hypothesize, you test, and you get results. When the results are unexpected, you don't quit the experiment. You analyze the data, adjust your formula, and you try again. Your potential is infinite. Don't let a temporary negative result define your future. Embrace the stumbles, trust the process, and know that you are getting stronger, smarter, and closer to your goal with every single attempt. The road to success is paved with stepping stones. Go out there and start building your path, one brave mistake at a time. That's it for this powerful episode of One Day One Podcast. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that they are defined by their resilience, not their results. Join us next time when we talk about mention next week's topic. For example, the power of setting non-work goals. Until then, take action, keep learning, and we'll talk soon.